Kanto. Kanto was the first Pokemon region, introduced in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow as Generation 1. It laid the foundation of the Pokemon franchise, with the original 151 Pokemon and a straightforward but iconic map design. The geography included forests, caves, mountains, and coastal cities, creating a balanced environment that defined the early adventure structure. The journey begins in Pallet Town, the small hometown that sends every trainer out into the world. From there, players travel across Kanto, battling 8 gym leaders before facing the Elite Four at the Indigo Plateau. This formula became the template for nearly every mainline Pokemon game. Kanto also features important landmarks. Cerulean Cave is home to Mewtwo, the genetic clone of Mew, and Lavender Town's Pokemon Tower introduces themes of death and remembrance, something rarely addressed so directly in later regions. Scattered across the land are the 3 legendary birds, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, each hidden in remote locations that reward exploration. The region is also the origin of Team Rocket, the first villainous organization in the series. Their schemes provided conflict and raised the stakes, turning the player's journey into more than just a test of strength. Mechanically, Kanto introduced the essential systems that still define the series: battling, evolution, and trading between different game versions. These innovations helped transform Pokemon into a global phenomenon. Because of its impact, Kanto is the most revisited region, appearing in sequels, remakes, and even forming part of the Johto games in Generation 2. Johto. Johto was introduced in Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal as Generation 2. It is a region deeply rooted in tradition, history, and harmony with nature, contrasting Kanto's more modern design. Instead of focusing on urban progress, Johto highlights cultural heritage, featuring ancient temples, mystical towers, and ruins from a forgotten civilization. One of Johto's defining features is its direct connection to Kanto. After completing the main story, players can travel across both regions, making Generation 2 the only set of games that allow exploration of 2 full regions within a single journey. This connection reinforces the theme of continuity and legacy, culminating in the final battle against Red, the original champion, at Mount Silver. Johto introduced several mechanics that reshaped the franchise. These included the day and night cycle, which affected Pokemon encounters and evolutions, Pokemon breeding, which gave players new ways to train and obtain rare moves, and the friendship system, which determined certain evolutions. Johto also gave older Pokemon new evolutionary paths, such as Steelix, Scizor, and Espeon, extending the relevance of Generation 1 Pokemon. The region is filled with mystery. The ruins of Alph House, the enigmatic Unknown, ancient Pokemon tied to a forgotten past, and to Arceus, the creator deity of the Pokemon world. Its mythology is embodied in its legendary Pokemon. The roaming beasts, Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, symbolize power and unpredictability, while Ho-Oh and Lugia represent the duality of life, death, and rebirth. With its rich lore, seamless map design, and groundbreaking gameplay features, Johto stands out as one of the most immersive and historically significant regions in the Pokemon series. Hoenn. Hoenn was introduced in Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald as Generation 3. It is a tropical region rich in water roots, volcanoes, and rainforests, creating one of the most diverse environments in the series. Unlike the structured layouts of Kanto and Johto, Hoenn's geography feels untamed, with oceans, islands, and mountains that encourage exploration across different terrains, including underwater. This region introduced several major gameplay innovations. Abilities gave Pokemon unique passive traits that influence battle strategies. Double battles added a new tactical dimension by letting 2 Pokemon fight on each side simultaneously. Pokemon contests provided an alternative to battling, focusing on performance and style. Players also gained access to secret bases, customizable hideouts that reinforced Hoenn's adventurous and creative spirit. The story of Hoenn revolves around the conflict between Team Magma and Team Aqua, 2 villainous groups with opposing goals. Team Magma sought to expand the landmass, while Team Aqua wanted to flood the seas. Their ambitions created large-scale threats to the natural world, making them some of the most ideologically driven enemy teams in the franchise. Hoenn's legendary Pokemon embody this environmental struggle. Groudon rules the land, Kyogre commands the sea, and Rayquaza maintains balance between the two. This trinity reflects the region's central theme of coexistence between nature and civilization. By blending wild geography, innovative mechanics, and a high-stakes storyline, Hoenn established itself as one of the most adventurous and environmentally conscious regions in Pokémon history. Sinnoh. Sinnoh was introduced in Pokémon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum as Generation 4. It is a cold, mountainous region, and its geography is dominated by Mount Coronet, which divides the land into eastern and western halves. This mountain serves not only as a physical landmark, but also as the mythological center of the Pokémon universe, said to be the birthplace of Arceus, the creator of all Pokémon. The region's environment is challenging, with snowy routes, icy lakes, and underground networks. Snowpoint City reflects the region's harsh climate, while the underground introduced a large mining and exploration system where players could dig for fossils, stones, and treasures. The lakes of Sinnoh, Lake Verity, Lake Valor, and Lake Acuity are home to the legendary lake guardians, Yoxie, Mesprit, and Azelf, representing knowledge, emotion, and willpower. Sinnoh expanded the Pokédex by giving many older Pokémon new evolutions, such as Electivire, Magmortar, and Togekiss. This reinforced the region's theme of growth and transformation, bridging past and present generations of Pokémon. The villainous group, Team Galactic, led by Cyrus, pursued the most ambitious plan yet to erase the existing universe and create a new one under his control. Their scheme directly tied into the legendary Pokémon Dialga, who governs time, Palkia, who controls space, and Giratina, who represents antimatter and the distortion world. This was the first time the series' narrative expanded to a cosmic scale, dealing with the foundations of existence itself. Sinnoh also introduced one of the most important mechanical changes in Pokémon history, the physical special split. Instead of attacks being categorized by type alone, moves were now separated into physical or special based on how they function, permanently changing competitive battling. With its mythology-driven lore, demanding geography, and universe-shaping storyline, Sinnoh is considered one of the most complex and lore-rich regions ever created. Unova. Unova was introduced in Pokémon Black and White as Generation 5. Unlike earlier regions, it was completely separate from Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh, marking a fresh start for the series. Inspired by New York City and its surrounding areas, Unova emphasized modernity, cultural diversity, and industrial progress, creating an atmosphere very different from the more nature-focused regions before it. One of Unova's defining features was its roster of Pokémon. For the first time, players could only encounter entirely new Pokémon during the main storyline. This restriction made the region feel like a brand new world instead of an extension of previous games. Seasonal changes were also introduced, altering wild Pokémon availability, environmental visuals, and even accessibility to certain areas, further immersing players in the passage of time. Unova's story is one of the most mature in the franchise. It revolves around the conflict of truth versus ideals, symbolized by the legendary dragons Reshiram and Zekrom. The villainous group, Team Plasma, led by N and manipulated by Ghetsis, questioned whether humans should even be allowed to use Pokémon in battles. This philosophical theme challenged the core premise of the series, giving Unova's narrative unusual depth. Mechanically, Unova introduced several new battle formats, including triple battles and rotation battles, expanding combat variety. Hidden abilities also debuted, giving Pokémon alternate powers that added long-term competitive complexity. With its urban inspiration, innovative mechanics, and thought-provoking story, Unova became one of the most ambitious and transformative regions in Pokémon history. Kalos. Kalos was introduced in Pokémon X and Y as Generation 6. Inspired by France, the region is defined by elegance, artistry, and cultural richness. Its design includes picturesque towns, sprawling countryside, and the vast central hub of Lumiose City, which captures the feel of Paris with its grand boulevards and iconic tower. Kalos introduced one of the most revolutionary mechanics in Pokémon history, Mega Evolution. This temporary transformation gave certain Pokémon enhanced stats, new abilities, and in some cases, entirely new forms. It added a fresh layer of strategy to battles and reinforced the region's themes of growth and evolution. Geographically, Kalos is diverse. Players travel across serene coastal areas, shadowy forests, eerie swamps, and snowy peaks. The region also carries a heavy sense of history. Long ago, it was the site of a massive war, which ended with the creation of the ultimate weapon, a devastating device built by King AZ. This backstory introduces a lingering sorrow to the region, and the legendary Pokémon Xerneas and Yveltal embody the dual themes of life and destruction. Kalos modernized the franchise in other ways as well. It introduced full character customization, allowing players to alter their trainer's appearance. The new fairy type balanced the dominance of dragon types in competitive play. Horde battles and sky battles added more variety to combat. Despite its beauty and innovations, Kalos is remembered for leaving many mysteries unresolved, such as unanswered questions about its ancient war. This open-endedness continues to fuel speculation among fans. With its artistic style, historical depth, and game-changing mechanics, Kalos stands as one of the most visually striking and thematically rich regions in the Pokemon world. Alola. Alola was introduced in Pokemon Sun and Moon as Generation 7. Unlike previous single landmass regions, Alola is made up of 4 islands: Melemele, Akala, Ulaula, and Poni, each with its own culture, geography, and ecosystems. Inspired by Hawaii, the region emphasizes community, tradition, and a close connection between humans, Pokemon, and nature. One of Alola's most notable changes was the replacement of the traditional gym system. Instead, players undertook the Island Challenge, facing powerful totem Pokemon and island kahunas in trials unique to each location. This shift highlighted Alola's cultural identity and differentiated it from the standard formula of earlier games. Alola also introduced regional variants known as Alolan forms, where familiar Pokemon adapted to the tropical environment. Examples include Alolan Raidu with its psychic typing, Alolan Marowak with a ghost and fire typing, and Alolan Exeggutor with its towering dragon form. These redesigns gave older Pokemon new relevance while reinforcing the region's theme of adaptation. The legendary Pokemon of Alola are tied to cosmic lore. Solgaleo and Lunala embody celestial power, while Necrozma expands the mythology through its connection to Ultra Space, a parallel dimension filled with mysterious Ultra Beasts. This interdimensional element gave the story a more science fiction tone than previous regions. The villainous Team Skull appeared more as chaotic delinquents than a true threat, but the Ether Foundation, which initially presented itself as benevolent, revealed darker motives involving the Ultra Beasts. This twist made Alola's storyline more unpredictable and layered than many earlier narratives. By blending cultural authenticity, new gameplay systems, and cosmic-scale storytelling, Alola delivered one of the most unique and experimental Pokemon experiences to date. Galar. Galar was introduced in Pokemon Sword and Shield as Generation 8. Inspired by the United Kingdom, the region blends industrial progress with deep-rooted traditions, creating a setting that balances modern innovations and historical legacy. Its design includes bustling cities, coal-powered factories, serene countryside, and battle stadiums built to resemble sports arenas. One of Galar's defining mechanics is Dynamaxing, which allows Pokemon to grow to massive sizes during battle, temporarily boosting their strength. Certain Pokemon can also Gigantamax, taking on unique new forms with special abilities. This mechanic is directly tied to the region's energy-rich land and reinforces Galar's focus on battles as large-scale public spectacles. The wild area introduced the first open-world environment in a mainline Pokemon game. With real-time weather, roaming Pokemon, and free camera movement, it provided players with more exploration freedom than ever before. Later expansions, the Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra, expanded this concept further with additional environments, legendary Pokemon, and new challenges. Galar's legendary Pokemon, Zacian and Zamazenta, are wolf-like figures representing valor and protection. They connect to the region's knightly history, while Eternatus, a colossal dragon Pokemon, represents unchecked energy and serves as the central threat. The villainous group Macrocosmos, led by Chairman Rose, sought to exploit Eternatus's power to provide infinite energy to the region. While motivated by good intentions, the plan risked plunging Galar into disaster, reflecting themes of industrial overreach and the costs of ambition. By combining historical inspiration, modern industrial themes, and innovative mechanics, Galar presented a fresh evolution of the Pokemon formula while laying the groundwork for the series' shift toward more open-world exploration. Paldea. Paldea was introduced in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet as Generation 9. Inspired by Spain and Portugal, it is the first fully open-world region in the series, allowing players to explore without being restricted to a set progression path. Its design blends historic architecture, vast plains, and coastal cliffs with modern academies and research facilities, creating a region that mixes tradition with innovation. For the first time, the main storyline is divided into 3 distinct paths. Victory Road follows the classic Gym Leader Challenge. Path of Legends tasks players with tracking down Titan Pokemon to uncover the secret of Herba Mystica. Starfall Street pits trainers against Team Star, a group of rebellious students with unique bases and themes. All 3 storylines eventually converge in Area Zero, the mysterious central crater of Paldea. Paldea introduced the terrestrial phenomenon, a mechanic that allows Pokémon to crystallize and change their typing mid-battle. This system added new strategic depth as it could alter a Pokémon's strengths and weaknesses in unexpected ways. The legendary Pokémon Koraidon and Miraidon also play a central role, serving as companions and transportation throughout the journey. They enable players to traverse land, climb cliffs, soar through the air, and cross water, seamlessly integrating exploration and story progression. Paldea's lore explores themes of time, science, and parallel realities. Paradox Pokémon, creatures resembling either ancient ancestors or futuristic forms of existing species, blur the line between past and future. Area Zero, with its hidden research stations and temporal mysteries, hints at deeper scientific experiments and consequences that expand the mythology of the Pokémon universe. By combining an open-world design, branching narratives, and groundbreaking mechanics, Paldea represents one of the boldest steps forward for the franchise, redefining how players experience their journey in the world of Pokémon.